Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bang with Mikey, episode 139. And we are officially under 2 weeks out from the Aloha Muscle. I know I said this before, that your boy's tired and everything, and I am tired. It is not difficult, but the diet itself is not difficult. It's everything going on around it. It's controlling my emotions and everything. It's controlling interacting with certain people. Cause I have this really bad habit. Um, about 8 weeks out from the show, I stop talking to people. Or I limit my human interactions from 8 weeks out. Cause I know when it's 4 or 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, a week out, I ain't talking to nobody. Unless people talk to me. And as you can guys see, my music program is open behind me, and it's like I literally don't do anything besides that. Um, Yesterday I literally spent all day just making beats. I had I'm still working on a live album, but I have a really bad habit of doing other projects too. So I completed the track list for Scorpio times Scorpio. I gotta master and edit those vocals for those tracks. And I have another 2-part EP that I'm working on. It's called Digging Through My Crates. That it wasn't gonna be a 2-part. Hell, it might be a 3-part. I don't know. But right now, Volume 1 has, I think, total of 5 tracks, and Volume 2 has a total of 6 tracks. And basically, all my joints that I make, it basically has to do with my childhood, you know, and the lack of love and support that I needed but didn't really receive. And that's really fucked me up because it's not like both my parents didn't give me love and everything like that too, because they did. But my mother, she was more along the lines of not that she would coddle us, but because me and my brother, we both have cerebral palsy, right? And so she would kind of baby us too. And my dad was a complete opposite. Like that nigga drove a slave ship. It's like if you ever seen one, man. It's like um I remember waking up early on the weekends doing yard work all damn day, um, being yelled at, and not really knowing why he was like that. And what it came down to, man, it had nothing to do with me. It is that he just wasn't happy in his situation. And as I got older, I reflected on that, and the one thing that drew me towards music was that, because I didn't really want to talk to people about this because it just felt weird. I didn't, and even as I got older, one time, went off to college and everything too, it was the same shit. I remember my dad telling me like, "Well, I don't know why you want to go to college. You'll just be wasting your time." And I was like, 18. I think I was 18 or so at the time, and I remember exactly what I was doing, where I was standing, what he was doing when he said that. And I never really understood that. It's like, yo, are you mad because your son's creating possibly a better future than you had? Or your son took an opportunity to better himself because you didn't have that opportunity? So it's like, it was really weird, man. It's like, and And that's another thing that drove me to bodybuild, man. I remember my dad telling me like, "Oh well, the only thing you take seriously is is his weightlifting thing." Yeah, because that weightlifting thing brings me fucking happiness. You know, I can physically see the results. And you know what's funny? He was the one who brought introduced me to weightlifting, and and it just you know I've never really gotten over that, man. I don't know why you want to go to college because you'd be wasting your time. I never really understood that, and when he died, I didn't know how to feel. You know, I felt sadness, obviously, because that man was my dad. He taught me everything, that I know. He also taught me shit that I didn't need to know. And he also exposed me to a lot of shit that, I mean, nothing that, that it was bad, but he exposed me to a lot of shit. And, yeah, I think it's imperative too, because I look at relationships now, and I'm not saying I'm an angel. I'm not saying that I'm a saint, because I'm not. I've done my fair share of dirt. Um, but a lot of it has to stem with how relationships were modeled after my parents. Um, I never really seen them have a civil conversation. I never really seen them sit down and talk out issues. I've never seen them do that. And I always, it was always yelling and screaming and throwing shit and breaking plates and all kinds of crazy shit, right? And I never really had the best luck in relationships either. But the one thing I did is like instead of me shutting down or gaslighting the other person, or just doing petty shit, I would literally say like, "Yo, can we table this and can we come back to this at a later time? Because if we continue down this path right now, I'm gonna end up saying something that I can't take back, and it's gonna be said in a way that you know um it's not meant to be said." And I think at the end of the day, that's imperative, because when you say things out of anger, you end up wanting to take it back, and you end up wanting to take it back because even though that's an emotion, that's not something that you want to have come out the way it came out. Now, granted, there are some people out there who deserve all the motherfucking smoke. All the smoke. There are some people out there who just take advantage of you, who just want to manipulate you, want to use the situation to their advantage, or all kinds of crazy shit, right? Those people, they definitely need to get dealt with. Because I was telling somebody yesterday, it's like, yo, there's a difference between being friendly and being nice. Friendly people will check you when you need out of pocket. Nice people will let you run over them. And I think a lot of people, they're too fucking nice. My problem is I have no problem telling you exactly what the fuck I think about you to your face, And if you push me to that level, I'm gonna end up saying shit that you ain't gonna fucking like. And I think a lot of people, they want to protect other people's feelings, but in reality, fuck their feelings. How they take something is not, it's not really your concern. But there's a difference between being critical and being subjective, or giving constructive criticism. And I think that's where my dad really fucked up with me at. He was so hypercritical of everything that I did. Like nothing really I ever did was good enough, or anything like that. And it's like even when I did accomplish something, he would find something negative to point that out. You know. And I just, I vowed one day to, I don't know how old I was. Maybe I was in high school. So, yo, if I ever have kids, man, I'm never going to be like him. Um, and still want kids, I'll be 35 this year, so it's not like I can't have kids, but, it's like I got to find it with the right person, somebody who wants to, build with me, grow with me, mature with me, and lastly, man, I'm a big ass kid. I don't really take anything too seriously because it's, unless it's bills or, something important going on, it's like, I don't really take things that seriously. It's like, I'm the type of dude, like, yo, I want to get some ice cream on a Sunday. Or, like, let's stay in and watch Netflix, whatever it is, right? Or, it's just simple shit like that. It's like, I don't have to always be out doing something to have a good time. Um, Cause even my mother was telling me, she's like, yo, like, you don't do nothing, this and this and that. I was like, you think I don't do anything? I'm perfectly fine with my routine, you know, until I find somebody who I want to break that routine for, or not even break that routine for, but like that person has to, um, they have to have their own shit together. Uh, I was watching this reel the other day, and his sister was talking about like how before we link up and before we do all this and this and that, we got to be individuals. And basically, what she was talking about was how a lot of people will go into relationships and they expect the other person, or they say the other person, well, like you complete me, or like you're what I'm looking for, this and this and that. And I'm like, no. I've always thought that was extremely weird thing to say. Uh, because if you're looking for another person to complete you, you're never gonna be whole. You're never gonna be your true, authentic self. Excuse me. And I think that's extremely important. I'm not saying go out there and date somebody who's, the polar opposite of you, or who's doing illegal shit or whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, you don't need that type of bullshit around you. You don't need that type of drama or that type of negative energy around you. But what you should be able to do, you should be past a certain age. You should be able to take care of yourself. You should have transportation. You should have a job. You should have, clean clothes on your back. That type of shit. I mean, it's like, or if you got a girl, who you dating, whatever it is, and let's say that you just did laundry and you got a basket full of clothes that you haven't folded yet, maybe she'll fold it for you, what I mean, or whatever it is, because a lot of people will look for other people to hide their flaws. And me, I'm different because I don't hide my flaws. My flaws are visible. One of them being cerebral palsy, believe it or not. And I think that's not that scares off a lot of people, but they just look at that and be like, oh, okay, like he walks this way or whatever it is. And sometimes I stutter, when I get stupid excited, I stutter. Yeah, it's crazy, because that does happen. But at the end of the day, nobody completes you. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's flawed. And what you gotta find the most imperfect person that's perfect for you. I'm gonna say that one more time. You gotta find the most imperfect person who's perfect for you. Now, I ain't saying that you gotta deal with people who shut down on you when tough conversations happen, or they don't want to talk about certain issues because they're triggered, whatever it is. I mean, I've dealt with that too, and it's not fun. It's not fun dealing with individuals who won't grow past their trauma, who want to be stuck in that so-called trauma cycle. It's like, no, it's not worth it. And that trauma cycle could be dating guys who aren't the best individuals for you, or having friends around simply because you don't want to be alone, or it could be going to a job that you hate, but you still haven't taken the opportunities that are in front of you that are greater opportunities, right? I said this before. A lot of people will sit there and be like, yeah, I hate my job, this and this and that, but you've been working there for a decade. You obviously don't hate it that much because, motherfucker, you still there. Speaking about that, I once worked a job where I knew 6 months in that it wasn't going to work, that this place was a dumpster fire. And it took me a year and a half to leave. But in that particular time, it was a job that I liked. I liked helping the people and everything too, but the work environment I was in, the people I was working with, majority were nice, but there were a few people in that environment that were just toxic as fuck. And I found myself not wanting to go to work, and I remember one day I woke up and like, I don't feel like going to work today. And it wasn't because I was tired. It wasn't because I was burnt out. I mean, well, it was because I was burnt out because I was in a toxic environment. But it's because I didn't want to be there. And that was my way of my body telling me, like, yo, we need to find something else. And so this was around Christmas time. And I usually take off the week of Christmas going into the New Year's. I take like a week off. And so with that being said, I took my week off and I thought about it for about a couple weeks, came back to work like, after the New Year, and put in my 2-week notice. And by the end of that month, I was gone. And it felt so much of it was such a relief not to, not to have to go back there, not to have to deal with certain individuals, because your mental health is never valued by a paycheck, man. And that's what I tell people. I don't care how much money you're making. It could be 40, 60, 80, 100K. If you don't like the people you work with, then there's absolutely no reason for you to be there. I know this is a different topic from when I started off, but it's like, it ties into a lot of things, man. It's like a lot of us grew up in toxic environments and not knowing how to communicate and not knowing how to express ourselves appropriately emotionally. And that's one thing I vowed growing up, because like I said, I never seen my parents have a civil conversation. I've never seen them handle conflict in a healthy adult way. It was always, you're doing this or you're doing that, yada, yada, yada. Okay, boom, great. I never once heard of, how do we fix this? How do we go about fixing this? Because you're my wife, you're my husband, whatever it is, right? And like, we're raising kids together. And I'm talking about me, I never once heard them say that. I never once heard them say, okay, we got kids together. Obviously, we're not vibing with each other right now, but how do we fix this so we are vibing with each other? And call me old school, man, or whatever it is, but I'm the type of dude, you don't have to plan anything for me. I'm the type of dude, like, hey, like, I'm gonna be like, hey, my girlfriend, my wife, whatever it is, but like, hey, babe, but you take off work Friday. And I'm gonna give her 2 weeks notice in advance. But like, take off work Friday. I gotta sit it for the kids, and we're just gonna spend all day together. We just gonna X, Y, and Z. We're gonna do boom, 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 and and this is what we gonna do. Cause I was told once, man, is like, when you marry somebody, dog, or when you date somebody, bruh, you never stop dating them. You never get comfortable. But at the same time too, you gotta realize that who you doing this for, you gotta make sure that they're giving you the same energy back. So if you, let's say, perfect example, if y'all go out to dinner, you pay the bill, and then y'all go to the movies after that, she gonna buy the tickets and the snacks. Or better yet, we ain't gonna buy snacks, dog. We gonna sneak this shit in, because it's like, my cheap ass, I ain't paying no $8 for no goddamn Red Vines. Yeah. I'm taking my ass along, but like, baby, bring your tote bag because we gonna sneak shit in. We gonna break all the rules. And but yeah, man, I think at the end of the day, man, you gotta find somebody who communicates in your language. You know, who communicates the way you understand, and like who handles conflict, man. Because a lot of people were raised in conflict and not knowing we was raised in conflict, and that's why a lot of people nowadays they end up in the same type of situations, or they end up dating the same type of individuals that their parents dated, or or they, it just things in general, because you end up you model your behavior after what you saw. And I'm a firm believer, and this is my psychology degree coming out. Psychology 101. First thing they state is that anything that's a learned behavior can be unlearned. But what they don't tell you is that it doesn't tell you, they don't say how long it's going to take you to unlearn that. And a lot of the times, it's like the shit that we've been through, it's ingrained in us, for decades. So it takes a while for us to unlearn shit. This is something personal for me, but a person that I know, she's been crushing on me for a minute, and every time we see each other, she's always throwing me attitude, this and this and that, or trying to get my attention, right? So I text her one day, be like, hey man, you don't have to do all that, throwing an attitude on, whenever you see me, this and this and that, right? Even though I think it's cute, it's not needed. Cause I told her, like, yo, like, I see you. You definitely got my attention, and I see you. Like, you don't have to do that. And then she goes, well, I know, but it's more fun to do that, than it is to do small talk. And I told her, like, I don't do small talk. That's the quickest way to lose me, is by doing small talk. But in my defense, I should have been more direct with her, because that was me telling her, like, yo, I see you, and I know you feeling me, and I'm feeling you too. And yeah, and I think at the end of the day, people will communicate how they're taught to communicate. And a lot of times we think we're great communicators, but we're not. And that's something we all have to work on. Just because I'm witty enough to pick up on certain things or whatever it is, I gotta realize that, not everybody else out there thinks the same way I think, right? Or is able to read between the lines is the way I am. And I think that's extremely important to do, because you don't want to be out there in a situation with somebody and that individual isn't picking up what you're putting down. But anyway, this is 23 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping it 4 P's, private player, positive pushing. I will see y'all next week Sunday. Love y'all, and like I always say, know your worth, because you're better than what you're doing. Peace.